Welcome back. Now today we want to talk about container solutions in the market. Joining us is Grace, who will give us more information. Grace, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Tell me what you do.
My name is Grace. I'm an interior designer by profession, and I've specialized in tiny spaces, specifically shipping containers conversion.
Why containers and how do they compare to the traditional materials?
Shipping containers are quite diverse. It might be a new technique in Kenya, but it's not that new in the world. Containers offer a number of solutions to the housing or building needs in Kenya. Of the most important would be the cost. Containers tend to save up to 30% of the fabrication costs. It also saves on time. A typical container house, like a one bedroom in one container, would take you 30 days. You have your container and you're ready to move in. If maybe we were to look at brick and mortar, it might take you a few months, probably 7, to have it ready for you to move in. So in terms of time, that saves you quite a bit of time. Now, when you're looking at flexibility of using shipping containers, take for example how we operate here. We will build your container home from our premise, then we carry it to your location as a complete unit. Unless maybe there is extras that need us to come and finish on your site, it will come as a complete unit. Then we also have flexibility in terms of sizes. We have a 20 foot, we have a 10 foot, we have a 40 foot that you can work with. Then containers also allow you to stack. You don't need anything extra to place one container on top of the other. As long as the base of your lower container is properly done, then the top container will comfortably sit.
What container products then do you have?
We have houses, we have clinics, we have classrooms, we have stalls, we have stores, we have ablution units, the toilets and bathrooms, production units like a milk processing production center or meat processing center. We have laboratories, we have libraries. The list is quite endless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what does it take to build a container house specifically?
I'll take you step by step. If you're to do a container house, you first need to at least have an idea. You as the client, you need to have an idea of what size of a container you want. So say we are talking of maybe a 2-bedroom house. After you've settled on your need, then you invite us for a site visit to your location so that we can look at your site to give us an idea of how to design your house, the location, how to position it, if you will be able to use ground space or how to use vertical space. Once we are done with the design, we come back to site, we come back to our yard. Now we do your design in detail to allow you see your house before you actually build it. After you've approved the design, we follow it up with a quotation. You approve the quotation, after which you can proceed to get your approvals. After you've gotten your approvals, we now start on the fabrication. If our scope covers everything including groundwork, then once we start cutting the containers here, we start on groundworks at your location. By the time we're ready here, your groundwork is ready to receive the containers.
Containers, we all know, is gonna joto.
Yes.
How do you prevent that heat or make it conducive?
We are sitting in a container that has not been insulated. And I can say the environment here is quite comfortable. So one of the solutions is taking advantage of cross ventilation. You need to have openings strategically placed to allow cross ventilation. The other thing is the positioning of your house in your property. If you have blockages, maybe a tree or a wall, it will also help contain temperature in your container. If you want to go an extra mile, now you can now think of insulation. We can use different types of insulation to control temperature. And if you're in an extreme weather situation, say Mombasa, you now can incorporate AC.
When you have a container in mind for a home, is this a long-term solution or a short-term solution?
It's a long-term solution. Though there is a misconception that containers don't last long, or the way we say it's a temporary structure, because that's how we classify it, as a temporary structure. The only thing that makes it temporary is not the lifespan, is the practicality of it moving from one point to another. I can have one container in Nairobi, tomorrow I can have it all the way in Samburu. you know. So that is what makes it flexible. That is what makes it temporary, but not the lifespan. If you handle your container properly, you can stretch its lifespan to even 50 years. Normally, when containers are on sea, the lifespan is about 10 to 15 years. When you remove it from that environment and you prepare it well, it can stretch to even 50 years.
People, of course, are slow to take up new things. What's the uptake like?
Impressive. I've been in the industry for about 7 years now. And what we are seeing people doing now is not what they were doing a few years back. People are now embracing containers. And also because we are also improving on skills. When we started, you'd find containers are not insulated. They're just containers as they are. But now you can see introduction of different claddings so that you don't just see the container as a metal box. You can cover it with different materials on the exterior to improve its aesthetics. People are now embracing the possibility of marrying it to different building materials. So it's not just metal. Your whole house doesn't necessarily need to be all metal. You can include the brick and mortar should you want, or any other material, even wood, should you want to accentuate your container.
What are other uses of containers outside housing?
In the market, we have two types of containers. We have dry containers and refrigerated containers. So over the years, we have been seeing the use of dry containers for different purposes, like what I've just mentioned, the classrooms, offices, and what have you. But now we are seeing a lot of people also considering refrigerated containers for different purposes. So we have refrigerated containers for transportation of perishables. We have refrigerated containers for storage of those same perishables. If you find a refrigerated container that is not working, you can comfortably convert it into probably a restaurant or even a house because it comes already insulated. We have daring people who are also using it as mugs, as mobile mugs. Yeah.
Okay.
So every day we find a different use, and the beauty of containers is it's client based. A client is the one who will come and tell you what they need made out of a shipping container.
Pros and cons of this?
The pros are many. I've talked of time, I've talked of portability. You can move it to different locations. You can stack them. It's fast because it's a box that already comes with the walls, roof and a floor. It is not as expensive. Yes, right now the cost might be higher, but it's not as expensive. If you're on a, say, a leased piece of land that you want to create a product that you'll move eventually, this is the only option that allows you that. The initial cost might be higher, but it's a one-off cost. If you're building a house, you'll not build it again. You just need to move it. The cons will come if you work with people who are not very conversant about shipping containers. They will mess your container up from how they even just do their fabrication. They'll cut parts that don't need to be cut, or they're not supposed to be cut because they're the structural bit of a shipping container. They'll tamper with the flow, and once you start interfering with things that you're not supposed to cut in a container, then you weaken the structure, and it beats the sense of using shipping containers.
Awesome. Last thoughts?
Containers are the way to go. I have been a believer. I am a user. I build and I also use a container. I live in a container house, and I wouldn't recommend it if I cannot use it. And the fact that I'm using it also goes to show how much I really believe in container homes. And even without me saying it, the pickup of containers, how we see more of container Airbnbs, more of container classrooms, more of container clinics coming up, it just goes to show how practical this option is.
Such a beautiful space you have here.
Thank you.
Why don't we have a look?
Okay.
Yeah.
Karibu. So my house is a one-bedroom house. We are in a 20-foot container. So it's divided into two spaces. We have the living room and we have the kitchen. So we can go up to the bedroom and toilet and bathroom. And as we go, we have an extension from the container. So the container ends here, but this is an extension to accommodate the staircase.
Okay.
Karibu.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Asante. So now
two containers.
Two containers.
And a small extension.
But where we are in is an extension.
Okay.
So now we are entering the second container. In the second container, The first space you get into is more or less like our walk-in closet. Then you have a toilet and bathroom on that side. Then you can walk
It's
to the
actually
bed
easy
area.
to just create your own little space for storage.
Yes. You know the beauty of container homes, it's yours.
Yeah.
It's designed to meet your needs.
You need. Okay.
Then we have the bed space. Now, the bed space marries now to the balcony.
And again, as you said,
So now you can see the difference. Yes. So
insulation.
yes, this is insulated. The
Okay.
top container is insulated. The lower container is not insulated. It's also because at night, when it's extremely cold, you need it to be warm. So that's why we figured this would be better insulated, and the lower one is better not insulated.
Okay. Then you have your little extension here again.
Yes, and when you're here, you see the rest of the
very
space. You wake up to containers, you see containers on a daily.
So what would this ideally cost? The 1 bedroom, bathrooms, living room, kitchen?
For this design, you'd be looking at 2 million shillings. Yes, so that is that is a 1 bedroom house in 2 20-feet containers, and that includes insulation for both containers. Yes.
When you say extension, that means
Yeah.
you're cutting another container. What does that mean?
An extension is basically like what we have, what our staircase has been. It's in an extension. So, and then for these containers, we've opened the container doors to add more space. So part of the kitchen is in an extension. The toilet and bathroom is also in an extension.
All right.
Yes.
This is super.
Thank you.
Really love it.
Thank
All
you.
the best. Asante sana for your time.
Asante, karibu sana.
Well, I hope you have learned a thing or two on today's show. Thank you for staying tuned. I have been your host, Naomi Mbuvi. Until next week, ciao.